Hi, welcome to the channel. This is Authentic Beauty, where we believe that makeup and beauty should be for all ages, all races and all genders. My name is Lisa, I'm a 44-year-old trans woman, and in today's video I'm going to be doing this. So if you would like to know how I did this bloody, gory, disgusting, meaty eye look, stay tuned. So this is going up at the beginning of Spooktober, and the reason for that is because there's a couple of items that you're going to need to get that you might not have, and it might take a few days for them to arrive. So I'll show you first of all. This is some liquid latex. This is called Liquid Flesh by liquidflesh.com. It took about a week to arrive. You can get smaller bottles and all sorts of things. Now you want to be really careful that you get liquid latex and not mastic, because mastic is sometimes sold as a similar sort of product, certainly around Halloween time, and it's a very different thing. Mastic is not eye safe. It's something that you use to apply sort of prosthetics and things. This is liquid latex, and this isn't particularly eye safe, but it is safe on the skin, so just bear that in mind. Obviously, please do a patch test and make sure that you don't get this in your actual eye, and there's a couple of other things you need to bear in mind, and I'll deal with that as we go on. Now you might also want to get yourself some fake blood. Now this is just a cheapo one. These are spray bottle ones. I think these came from, one might have come from Poundland and one might have come from B&M or somewhere like that. You can pick them up at this time of year really sort of quite easily. Also, Halloween shops and fancy dress shops will have sort of spray bottles like this. You also are going to need some liquid lipsticks in various shades or other forms of makeup. Now the reason I use liquid lipsticks for this is because they are designed to dry down and stay in place, and what I found is when you use, specifically if you use cheap Halloween makeup, you kind of put it on and it looks fine for the first half hour, and then as it dries down, it just dries down to pink, which is never a good look really. Also, these are designed, liquid lipsticks are generally designed not to stain unless you're using a specific stain. So I've got a sort of dark red brown sort of scab kind of colour. This is, right, it's a really lovely description, isn't it? But this is by Model's Own. I've got a Matte Me by Sleek. I've got one from Collection. I've got various of the Retro Luxe matte kits from Makeup Revolution, and you'll see I've also got a black one, which is what I'm wearing on my lips, and this is also just to add depth, and I'll come to that. If you haven't got liquid lipsticks, you can use sort of standard bullet lipsticks in red, but obviously just be aware that those might not dry down in the same sort of way, which you might prefer. You know, it's up to you. The other thing that you're going to need for this look is a sandwich bag or something else with sort of quite a thick clear plastic, and also some toilet roll or kitchen paper. I would recommend toilet roll just because kitchen paper, especially if it's one like this where it's got like an embossed design, it's a lot more difficult to try and separate the ply. As you can see, it just kind of pulls apart really badly, whereas toilet roll tends to separate a little bit better. Right then, let's get on with, and the only other thing you need is a disposable makeup brush. You could use a lolly stick, you could use anything at all, or a really cheap nasty makeup brush. The reason I'm saying that is because once this gets into contact with your liquid latex, the brush is going to be ruined, so just bear that in mind. Okay, so then let's get on with it, shall we? As you can see, I've removed all of the eye makeup and my foundation and everything all the way down to the naked skin on this side, so this just gives it a clean sort of canvas for the latex to stick to. I've also gone ahead and cut out a sort of oval really shape from the clear plastic bag, and that is to protect my eye. In some of the looks that I've seen online where people do similar looks to this, they've used things like cotton rounds or they've used tights, and the reason I don't use that is because I find with it being porous, you can actually get the latex that soaks through, and then you get it sticking to your eye and sticking to your eyelashes, and obviously with my alopecia, the last thing I need is to remove any more eyelashes. So what I'm going to do is I will show you, I'm just using the back of this Makeup Revolution palette, and I'll show you just sort of what I do. So I'm just shaking up the liquid latex and you want to cover the outer edges of that clear plastic. So I don't know whether you can actually see that. The latex is really runny, so I'm having to be quite careful for it not to run off the back of the palette. There we go. I do just want to make sure, as you can see it on the back of my hand, that the that center bit is kind of fairly clean, so I'm just wiping it off with my finger just so that there's no latex right in the center, as you can see. Right then, so I'm just going to place this onto my eye, And again, bear in mind that if you do have eyelashes, if this sticks onto, not eyelashes, sorry, if you have eyebrow hairs, this, where it sticks, the latex will actually potentially pull away your eyebrow hairs, so just be super careful with that. And I did actually just accidentally attach it just onto the corner of my nose there, but that's not going to be a problem. And then while your latex is actually still wet, see if I can hold the mirror, and there we go. So I'm just dipping into the latex with that brush, and I'm just kind of laying it down around the sides just to kind of help stick that to my skin. And again, because I have no eyebrows, I'm not really worried about going over the eyebrow line there, because that is just my makeup, as you know. But if you do have eyebrows, then you want to be super careful about where you lay down that layer of latex, and you can cut the plastic to size. I'm just building up that latex around the edge just to kind of make sure that that is stuck in place. This is when I want to start separating some of the toilet roll into its ply, just so that I've got some to dip in. So I'm just taking one sheet of loo roll, and just, again, I should have done this when I had the ability to use both eyes, but there you go, you can see I'm just taking one ply, and this is just so it's nice and thin, and then I'm just going to tear some little strips and some little pieces, and I'm just dipping that into the latex on the palette, and then placing that just around the edge, and then I'm just going to tear the sort of bottoms off of the actually I'm not going to tear it, I'm just going to leave it be. It can stick into place like that, that's fine. Again, taking some more of the loo roll and kind of attaching it very loosely in. So again, taking that brush, building up the latex, and because I've got a clear plastic, although it looks like I'm placing it onto my eye, I'm actually placing it against that plastic film, so it's just allowing me, again, just to build up more of that tissue paper, the toilet roll, and kind of just loosely place it into position, and go back in with that latexy brush, and then reach and get some more. And you just kind of build this up all around the eye, using the toilet roll, dipping it into the latex like so, placing it. It's really hard to do one-handed with only one eye as well, but anyway. So yeah, you just start sort of placing it down like so, creating sort of a really three-dimensional, quite disgusting kind of look really, but bringing it all back to that basic eye shape, because that's what we're going to want. And going back in, placing a bit more of the latex on the palette. It's easier to use small amounts of latex on the palettes or on your sort of whatever you're using to kind of hold the latex than it is to try and do it sort of from the bottle, just because it makes it simpler. Again, another small piece of toilet roll, and then just build it up, and basically all you're doing is adding in the effects that are going to look like the sort of meat from your eye, which sounds disgusting, but also the skin around the eye. So you just want to keep layering it up until you're happy with it. Now what you might find is that the sort of the toilet roll kind of goes a little bit gloopy, and it sort of forms into sort of like little, almost like spitballs, to be honest with you, but that again is something that can work really well for the meatiness of the sort of injury that we're going for. So it kind of just builds up and builds up and builds up. Right, I'm going to add some more latex. And just coating everything in even more latex, and I'm kind of building up that really sort of three-dimensional look, so it looks like things are being sucked out of my eyeball shape, out of my eyeball, my eye hole, my eye holes. Look at my eye holes. So I just want to show you, I've separated some more of the toilet roll into the layers. Now this time I'm keeping this 2-ply, and I've just torn sort of a strip like so, and I'm just twisting it around and just kind of creating something that's going to look like tendrils and tendons and things. So once I've kind of got that a little bit just twisted, I'm dipping it back into the latex. There you go, like so. And then I'm just again rolling it and just making sure that it's all coated. I've just left a little piece of that toilet roll at the top, which I'm going to coat with latex now, and I'll show you why. Because I want to use this bit to stick to my actual eye, like so. So it kind of looks like there's a tendony bit kind of being pulled, and I think that is going to be too long, so I can cut that in a second. But I've done a second one as well, so I'm just going to attach this bit, and you can basically build this up until you are kind of happy with it. So you could sort of stop there. I think I am going to trim these tendons down a little bit, but you could stop there, you could go on and build it up. It literally, you know, you can carry on going until the effect kind of gets to where you want it to be. Actually, that looks fine, that feels fine. Just coat that down a little bit, like so. And I am now just going to wait for a little bit for that latex to dry, and I'll be back in a few minutes. It's been a few minutes, the latex has completely dried down, so that's fine. I'm going in with the black liquid lipstick. This is Kiss of Death by Revolution, and I'm just using that just in the centre. I'm not using a lot, as you can see. I'm just using like a few little splodgy bits just to kind of add some depth to when I add the red. So that's probably enough of the black. Now I do have different shades of red, as you can see. So I've got sort of more of a purpley colour, more of a browny red, more of an orangey red, and then in here I do also have the other liquid lipstick. So I've got more of a sort of a true red, like a pillar box red, and where were the other ones? There we go. And that Model's Own one as well, which is like a deep sort of brown, dark sort of scab red. So if you're looking for a sort of vaguely realistic type gore effect, then you need to bear in mind that with blood and sort of gore and guts in real life, the outer edges are where the red is the reddest, and as you go in deeper, that's where the colours go deeper and deeper and deeper. So you want to bear that in mind. So I'm going to go in with, let me just put these lipsticks back in there. I'm going to go in with the sort of more orangey of the reds. So I'm just placing that around the sort of outsides of the eye of our wound, and I'm just literally just placing that and building that up like so. And this is also a good way of using up any expired lipsticks or anything that you've got that you might not want to use anymore. So if you've got products by brands that you're no longer supporting, or if you've got products that you are just kind of, you know, done with, then this is a good way of sort of getting rid of them at Halloween. So now the sort of more purpley shade. That is looking really quite effective right now. Again, because I use that black, it just gives it that depth right in the middle of sort of the socket, just makes it look a lot more three-dimensional. And then the different shades of reds and the different sort of tones just helps build up that realism. Okay, I'm going to go in with that sleek one as well. This is the Matte Me. I really like this as a lipstick. I find the colour payoff is really good, and it is quite a true pillar box red, so it does just add in that sort of effect, that sort of blood effect right on top. I think that's really cool. I am just going to paint these again down a bit further in a minute, but don't worry about that for now. And it is just about layering it up and putting more and more and more on until you're happy with the result. Again, I think I want to go back in with some of the darker colours now. Not quite the black, but some of the other sort of more purplish and brownish tones, just to build that up a little bit more. I don't know whether you just noticed I just smudged a little bit on my nose. That's not a problem for what we're doing today. Right, and when you're happy with the overall sort of wound effect, then I need to actually use both hands for this. So, excuse me for looking down. I need to pump the liquid lipstick and then hold the tendons and just coat them, just so they've got that real bloody sort of red disgusting look about them, just so it's got that really visceral look. You just want to make it gory, is basically what I'm saying. And again, that Sleek Me is the perfect shade of blood red, although it does leave quite a bit of staining on my fingers afterwards, but hey ho, that's fine. We won't worry too much about that. I'm going to go back in with a little bit of the Model's Own one. So I think that's looking really good, but I do just want to add a little bit more depth just into sort of the socket area. So I am going back in with the black and just adding in sort of small doses just around the base of the tendons and just on some of the more meatier bits. There you go. Now you see that looks a lot deeper, doesn't it? That actually looks really like disgusting, to be honest, which is what we're going for. So add a little bit more of that more blood red, the sort of more orangey tone red, just over the top of the black. And then I'm going to use the Sleek Red and actually do some drips. So it looks like, you know, there is actually sort of blood oozing and pouring and dripping. And then go in with the other shades as well, so the slightly more purpley shade one by Makeup Revolution, and just touch that up there just a little bit in a few places so it looks a little bit splattery. And then do you remember way back when at the beginning of this I said about the blood spray? Well, this we're going to use a tiny bit, because I do know from using this before that it goes very, very pink once it's been used. But we are going to put a little spray just on the sort of centre bit, like so. So it does look sort of a bit splattery, and again, like so, it just adds that something to the look. So we are almost finished. The eye is pretty much done, but I like to add in, just with some of the lipstick, just some little sort of dots of splashes of blood, and then also down sort of on my chest, because there would be blood pretty much everywhere. So just to add some little bits, and again using different colours just helps with the realism. So it looks like some of it is sort of has come from deeper places and has got bits of meatiness in and all of that, which is quite vile really, isn't it? It's quite disgusting. That's it, that's the finished look. What do you think? I've got to say I really love this. Absolutely love it. The black lipstick in the middle has given it such a sort of three-dimensional effect that it really does look as if my eye is missing and there's a big gap there, while the tendons, these look really disgusting and kind of, they give it that extra oomph. The different shades of red I think work really well together. The only thing I would say that I wouldn't do again if I was to use this again is the fake blood spray, because as you can see, as I said it would, just here as it's dried down it's gone very sort of Barbie pink, which isn't something that you really want on this sort of look. It's really comfortable to wear because I've got that plastic bag sort of protecting my eye underneath. My eye can actually open and close. It's actually open right now, you can't see, and obviously I can't see out of it. I can just see sort of vague light and dark shadows, but it does mean that I'm not kind of too restricted. It doesn't feel too claustrophobic, which for me is quite a key thing. And obviously the blood splatters just on that side of the face, I just think it adds to it, doesn't it? It just adds to that realism. And there you go. It's a really simple thing to do. It doesn't take that long, but it does require that liquid latex, which is why this is going first in the series of sort of special effects videos. And yeah, let me know down in the comment section if you're going to give this a go. And as always, don't forget, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I mean, look what I do for you lot, you know what I'm saying? And also hit the bell icon while you are there so you're notified each and every time I upload a video. Right then, that's it. I'm off. I hope you enjoyed this. And as I always say, stay you, stay safe, stay authentic, stay spooky. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye. It's a couple of hours later. I've taken some pictures for Instagram. I've generally potted around. I've chatted to Rufus. Now I've got to say, this is actually the second time that I filmed this particular look. The reason being that the sound quality on the first one, the microphone was round the wrong way and everything was just crap. So I decided to refilm it. But the first time I did it, it was actually much earlier on during the day. And I did take some pictures outside. I will put a couple of pictures in here if I can. And one of the dogs, one of our neighbour's dogs, came up to me as he would do normally. It took one look at me and started howling the place down. I had to peel all the makeup off and actually show him that I was okay underneath and give him a treat before he sort of, you know, was okay with the fact that this wasn't real. So yeah, I just wanted to say, if you do have animals around, do just be a little bit careful when they see you if you're doing this look. Also, I will just show you how simple it is to remove. So you do just kind of pick at the edge of it in terms of the latex, and you can see that it just lifts up. Oh look, I can see again, and then it just peels off. Oh, that's very bright now. Just peels off in one piece, and there, because I had the latex underneath. Oh, that's all my mascara that has come underneath there, my mascara from earlier. But anyway, that is what the latex piece now actually looks like, and you could probably get away, you know, with actually reusing that and sort of putting it back on and just using the latex to glue it back into place, and putting a little bit of the latex and sort of toilet roll around the outside, and just going back in with some of that more some of that lipstick again if you wanted to use it a second time, because as I say, that is just the sort of the plastic bag. But there you go, perfectly fine, absolutely no problem at all with my eye. The thing I would say is that this eyelash is actually more uncomfortable than wearing this was. But there you go, a little epilogue just at the end of the video. And obviously using that black, fuck's sake, so they wouldn't be just one sort of colour. Well, I'm not making any sense, am I? And I have just had a latex accident. It's going to ruin this top, which is a bit of a bugger because I really like this top, but never mind. And this is, it's called Midnight Kiss. Is that right? No, it just looks bloody awful, doesn't it, really? Bloody being the operative word. Apart from that end, oh God, I've just torn it. You need to bear in mind, if this was a real injury, well, you don't need to. Now, one thing to bear in mind, and as I will completely... Hi, welcome to the channel. This is Authentic. Oh, bollocks. What do you think? I really like it. Bollocks.